Hey guys, this is lesson 101 in math, talking about tables and schedules. It starts on page 640. So we've looked at graphs that present number information in picture form. Another way of presenting number information is a table, and I'm sure you've seen these before. This should be pretty much review for you with the tables. Example 1 is on page 641. It says, use the information in this table to answer the questions that follow. So you're given the table in example 1, and then you're asked some questions. A says, the Matterhorn is how many meters taller than Pikes Peak? So when it asks how many meters taller, you're doing subtraction. So you're going to look at the Matterhorn is how many meters taller. So the Matterhorn, look in the meters section, not in feet. The Matterhorn is 4,478 meters. And then remember, we're subtracting the height of Pikes Peak, which is 4,301. And then obviously we subtract 8 minus 1, 7. 7 minus 0, 7. 4 minus 3 is 1. And of course this is meters, so we have to label it. And you can just label M for meter. So it's 177 meters taller. So the Matterhorn is 177 meters taller than Pikes Peak. The next one is McKinley is how many feet taller than Kilimanjaro? So we'll erase this. We're still working with subtraction. McKinley, now it's on feet, so you have to look in the feet section. McKinley is 20,320 feet. And it is taller than Kilimanjaro, which Kilimanjaro is 19,340 feet. And now we subtract. 0 minus 0 is 0. 2 minus 4, well, I can't do that. I'm going to have to borrow from the 3. The 3 becomes a 2, and the 2 becomes a 12. So now 12 minus 4 is 8. 2 minus 3, I can't do that. Got to borrow, but I can't borrow from a 0. I got to come over here and borrow from the 2. So the 2 becomes a 1. Now the 0 becomes a 10, and I can borrow from it. And it's now 9. And now my 2 over here is 12. So 12 minus 3 is 9. 9 minus 9, 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. So, and this, remember, was feet. FT. 980 feet. So it's pretty simple. The last thing on here says estimate. About how many miles high is Everest? A mile is 5,280 feet. So we could round 5,280 to 5,000. And Everest is 29,035 feet. That could round to 30. So 30 divided by 5 is 6. So it's about 6 miles, between 5 and 6 miles high. On to the next page for our next examples. This one's getting into schedules. So I'll erase this. Now I know all of you know what a schedule is, but I'm going to tell you anyway. A schedule is a list of events organized by the times at which they are planned to occur, which you're used to seeing my schedule on the board every day. Example 2. Li Ming follows this schedule on school days. So she has this whole schedule starting at 6:30 a.m. all the way to 9 o'clock p.m. to go to bed. It says if lunch and recess together last 45 minutes, then how many hours does Li Ming spend in class? So lunch and recess is 45 minutes. She gets to school at 8 a.m. So school starts at 8 a.m. school ends at 2:45 p.m.? So we need to find out how long her school day is. So 8 a.m. to 2:45 p.m. Well, you don't even need a clock. You could use a clock, but you don't really need one. You can just think, well, 8 to 9 is 1 hour, to 10, 2, then to 11, 12, 1, 2. That's 6 hours. And then 45 minutes. So her school day is 6 hours and 45 minutes. That's how long her school day is. But it says that lunch and recess are 45 minutes together. So we need to subtract the 45 minutes for lunch and recess to find out how long she actually spends in class. Now, thankfully, this one's given to us pretty easy because it's 6 hours and 45 minutes. If we want to subtract $45 from that, we just end up with 6 hours and no minutes. So she spends 6 hours in class. All right, example 3, which is the last example. It says on Saturday morning, Cameron wakes up at 8 a.m. His softball game starts at 10:30 a.m. How long after he wakes up does his softball game start? Okay, so he wakes up at 8 a.m. Softball game starts at 10:30. So 8 to 10, we know, is how many hours? Well, 8 to 10 is 2 hours, right? Because 8 to 9 is 1, 9 to 10 is 1. So that's 2 hours. And then, but the game doesn't start till 10:30, so that's 30 more minutes. So his game starts 2 hours and 30 minutes after he wakes up, or 2.5 hours after he wakes up. Then there's one more little thing. It says if it takes Cameron 25 minutes to drive to the game, what time should he leave his house in order to arrive at the game 15 minutes early? Okay, so the game starts at 10:30, but he wants to get there 15 minutes early. So meaning he would want to get there at what time? 10:15. So now we have to think, well, 10:15, and it takes him 25 minutes to get there. Well, if he left at 10, that only gives him 15 minutes. So he needs to leave 10 minutes before 10, because 10 plus 15 is 25. So 10 minutes before 10 o'clock would be 9:50. So he would need to leave the house by 9:50 a.m. in order to get there by 10:15. Okay, there is an activity on here, but you're going to skip it because it's supposed to be a class activity and it's supposed to be a days long thing, and we can't do that because we're not together, unfortunately. So don't worry about the activity. Do the lesson practice. It's A through D. D is on page 644. Then you're going to do the independent work. You're going to do today on lesson 101. You're going to be doing the odd problems, but you're going to skip 27 and do 28 instead. So odd problems, skip 27, do 28 instead. As always, if you have any questions, let me know. And I hope to hear from you guys soon.